Stay focused on the work and the people you serve. The impact will speak for you because it's never about you. And then when I say never about you, I'm saying it is not about the politics, it is not about the personalities, it is about the job.
Welcome to Breaking Ground, Women in AEC Leadership Podcast. This is a show that lifts the voices, journeys, and insights of women shaping the future of architecture, engineering, and construction, and it's brought to you by Unanet. If you're in the architecture, engineering, or construction space, you know how critical it is to keep your projects on time, your teams aligned, your pipeline growing, and your finances in check. That's where Unanet comes in with project-based ERP solutions, CRM solutions, and an AI growth suite built specifically for AEC firms. I'm today's host, Reanna Dempsey, and with me is my lovely co-host, Sarah Brown. Hi, Sarah. And in this podcast, we connect with professionals across the AEC industry to share real stories and hard-earned wisdom. At our core, we believe that a strong, diverse workforce drives innovation and success, and that women are essential to building the future of AEC. This is more than a conversation. It's a community focused on growth and lasting impact. Let's get started. Today, we are speaking to Gayla Nunn. Hi, Gayla. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm doing well.
Awesome. And you're hailing from St. Louis, right?
Yes, yes, just made it through a snowstorm. So, yes, hailing from St. Louis,
Awesome.
St.
Well,
Louis, Missouri.
so glad to have you today. And Sarah, maybe you can just give us a little bit more information about Gayla.
I am so excited to introduce Gayla today. I first met her earlier this fall, and her spirit just came through as soon as I met her. She volunteers to lead one of our user groups. She has been with ABNA for 21 years. She just hit her 21st anniversary a couple weeks ago. And it's our pleasure to have her here today. Her current capacity is in special projects management, and she not only leads strategic initiatives, but also serves as the company's internship companion, fostering the development of emerging talent. Gayla loves to travel, and on her latest trip, she visited Europe, where she and her group visited London, Paris, Rome, and Madrid. And I'd love to get it kicked off with an icebreaker. So, your question is, if you could have one meal with any female leader, who would it be and why?
If I could have one meal
Mhm.
with any female that are currently alive,
Your choice.
you know, okay, who would
You can
it
have
be?
more than one too if you're really like torn between two people.
Yeah, no rules here.
See, I wanted to go with Nefertiti because I would
Ooh.
love to see what it would have been like, back at that time to rule and how she had to use her feminine ways really to make it in that time. So it'd just be interesting, like, so did you? I mean, just how did you do it? That type of thing. I would definitely like to
Oh,
have lunch with her. I don't think I'd want to eat the food that they create back then, but I would like to eat with her.
that's awesome. I
In my
like you
head,
went
they're
way
eating
back.
charcuterie, but I don't know if that.
Oh my god,
Right.
that's
Yeah, I
great.
can see that.
I love it.
We eating grapes, grapes and fruit, that kind of thing.
I
But yeah,
mean, yeah, we could go with that.
but
That's what
just
all the
because,
movies have, right? All the movies show the
it's
grapes and the
a
yeah. Yeah.
right. But just that whole here she is, this queen, and how did she negate it was a man's arena back then as well,
Yep.
kind of thing. And so to come out of history as strong as a character that she is, it'd be just nice to talk to her like, so how did you manage, that?
I love that. That's
I would
great.
Great answer.
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, so Sarah told us, a little bit about you, but we would love for our audience just to get to know you a bit more, kind of,
Okay.
open up, give us a little bit of your bio, and you can include, I think it's cool because back in the day it was all like keep personal life but we're all like about bringing our whole self to work these days, which is great. So tell us everything about Gayla.
Okay, I was born. No,
This will be part
Uh,
1. We'll do 8 parts. Yeah.
right, mini series. Let's see. First of all, I'm Gayla Nunn. My name is actually derived from my dad. His name was Gail, and therefore I'm Gayla, that type of thing. I'm a special projects manager here at ABNA Inc. I lead the planning and execution of projects across the company, from the operations, the licensing, marketing, business development, and our internship program, which is actually very dear to my heart. My job has been to keep the teams aligned, remove roadblocks, and to make sure our systems support both quality and growth. Another part is I spend years managing construction operations. I led crews, coordinated subcontractors, oversaw safety and safety training and summits. And that experience actually really shaped who I am today. So I'm practical, people focused, definitely, and steady under pressure. I think that's what Adna likes about me is that I'm steady under pressure. As part of my work involves processes and data, Adna has been with Unanet for about 15 years, if not more.
Thank you for
And
that. That's amazing. We love that.
it has been one of our core tools for keeping our projects, our people, and information organized. It's our central depository for most everything. Having that structure behind the scenes lets us focus on serving our clients and delivering good work. And it's played a big part in how I manage and support our teams. So without Unanet, I don't know how that would work. But I'm also a business management student at WGU, always learning and always trying to evolve. Outside of ABNA, since you said I can talk about stuff besides ABNA, stay connected to the community. I have been an active member of the Missouri Botanical Gardens Corporate Council. I've been there for more than a decade.
Wow.
Uh, that is near and dear to my heart. Uh, and it gives me a different space to serve, collaborate, and support initiatives that matter to our region. I've actually been the chair for the engagement committee. Um, and I'm Well, the other thing that's personal and dear to me, of course, is my own hobby and my own little business, which is a gala affair, a play on my name.
I love the name.
That's really cool.
I started it in about 2012, and it's my creative outlet. I have designed weddings and birthday celebrations. I've even in a local university, I did the stage for the graduation, and it is probably one of my best ways to balance the structure of engineering with something hands-on and artistic.
I
Then
wish
I
that
guess
I could afford to I don't know if you heard, we were just chatting before we started the recording, right? And my son's birthday is Saturday, and I am as passionate as you are is how not passionate I am, and I'm not good at it either. So I like it's hard and I don't enjoy it. So I love when I meet people that are so good at it, but you're very far away. So I don't think I could bring you all the way here for a 7-year-old birthday
I
party.
have done weddings and celebrations in other cities. I've done stuff in Vegas, that kind of thing. So I could
Ooh.
come to you. But there's some things I could just also kind of tell you about and kind of walk you through it.
Yes. That is awesome.
But yeah, I loved it. But keeping it simple, I guess in a nutshell, I'm a builder. Whether it's people, processes, or experiences, I love creating order, uh, being bossy. No, I take that back. Elevating talent and bringing teams together to get work done. So
I love that. That is and 21 years is such an amazing I think that's the thing I love the most about, like we have we're not necessarily in the AEC industry ourselves, but we serve a lot of AEC companies and you just don't see the tenure in other
Mhm.
industries like you do here, and I love that because I wanna find places and stay places and um, but how did you so 21 years, and I'm thinking about this because my dad started a construction firm, it's smaller than Abna, but it's like he started that maybe 25 years ago, I worked there a little bit, and I did not meet many women, and I especially didn't meet many women out in the field managing the
Mhm.
people like, how did you get into all of that?
You know, one of the things I'm gonna introduce the word is chance. You have to have people give you that chance,
Mhm.
especially in a world dominated by our male counterpart.
Mhm.
So lucky for me, somebody gave me a chance and threw me into construction. And from there, I was able to really just dig in and
Yeah.
find roots and set up. So let's see. I can say when I look back over the 20 years that I was at ABNA, I can see, like you said, how the industry has shifted. Very little though. In my
Uh-huh.
early years, I remember looking around ABNA's own executive table, and on one hand, you can count how many women were there. Uh, and I also remember going into project kickoff meetings or meetings with the owner reps and things like that, and being the only woman there. I would be around, the project managers and like I said, the owners reps and the engineers and the construction superintendents. And I'm called the little girl. Hey, little girl. Hey, little lady. That kind of thing.
Mhm.
And it had been that way for decades. And they had more experience at the time. But you keep at it, you learn as well.
Yeah.
And so today it looks better, but the room hasn't changed as much as we would like. I see more women leading departments, especially here, presenting strategic solutions. You have them carrying more major responsibilities. And I watched that shift happen in real time. And for me, I am thankful that I have a role model, in particular, the female principal of the company. Seeing her run things with a quiet strength and show what was possible, I watched how she broke down like complex issues or how she would be in a room where they're all getting heated and, tensions are rising. And she could just, lead without raising her voice
Mm.
because she was able to make herself loud without getting loud, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Makes a lot of
But then
sense.
yeah. So then now, where I sit and doing the intern, I can now see young women interns and our junior staff grow into confident coordinators and engineers. And that kind of growth shows why visibility matters. So it's good to see the galas and it's good to see the Sarahs in position because then these women can see themselves in the room and they can be heard. So
Yes.
it's just, I guess, in summary, I think that one of the things that for me happened, it made me realize it just taught me that we don't need to wait for space to be made for us.
Mm.
We can create it by doing the work well and just showing up with purpose. And it's okay to take up that space. In fact, to me, I want to be like, it's okay to be loud um, because when you're loud, people hear you and you take up space.
Mhm. I
So
love it.
thank you.
You kind of touched on this already, but a stat that I was kind of looking into was like, hey, what is the growth that we have seen? Is there this assumption of growth, or are there women that are growing in this industry? And there is growth, which is exciting. So 11.2% of U.S. construction workforce is marking the highest share of women in this industry in 2 decades, which equates to about 1.34 million women employed in the construction industry, which I thought was insane. I was like, that's awesome. We're having that growth. But then also, wait a minute, 1.34 million sounds like a lot,
But
but
it's not.
10%? 10%?
Right.
That
It's
is
not.
no. So when now you mentioned you have this internship program, which we would love to hear a little bit about if you could kind of share with us how that works, what those interns kind of get a chance to see as they go through. And you mentioned that you've had young women, as interns. Have you
Mhm.
been seeing that number increase over the years?
Not for women, and I'm
Not for
explaining.
women.
Yes, and it's because I'm in civil, and what I'm specifically looking for, no. But when we look at mechanical, or I look at a low voltage electrical, or we look into computer science, all the women are there. But when I look into structural, transportation, surveying, I'm not getting environmental, I'm not getting as many women as I'd like to see. Now, don't get me wrong, they are there. They are there, but it's not like if there's one, well, then she has, when you're at a career fair, she has hundreds of companies she can pick from, that type of thing. But I'm also surprised that I have a lot of women coming through construction services and construction management. So that I'm happy to see them there. And we have that division as well. But I for engineers, it's what we need, not so much. So
Not yet.
not yet.
Okay.
It doesn't
But it,
surprise me though, the like the management and like the the management of the projects. Like, I've
Mhm.
always wondered why there weren't more women. Because I mean, come on, we multitask so well. We can, like,
Yeah.
juggle all the things, right? Like, that's what you need on these job sites and with these projects because there's so much going on. So at least we're seeing the growth in some of the areas. That's pretty exciting.
Well, to make it here, like I said, you gotta come in loud. But, you gotta they think you're still well, I'm sorry. They want you to be a woman, and as a woman, you do soft skills. But
Mhm.
that's so much more in construction than soft skills. Like I said, I'm up here managing crisis. And there's people I want to make sure everybody's going home the way they came to work. There
Yes.
are projects that need to be built, and there's money and budgets and things like that. I can do so much more than admin. And I'm
Yes.
not saying it's anything against that. We need it done, but you know, there's some growth there. And that's
Yeah.
where chance comes in, where you
No,
you find a person and you give them the ability, hey, do it. So
I
Yes.
love that you bring that up because I do think that assumption is there. So prior to Unanet, I was in another industry, and I went to this conference, and the room was full of men. It was probably about 50 men, and I had gone with a coworker of mine, both in managerial roles, and we're in this small group after the conference had broken, and a gentleman in the group goes, "Hey, um, can you share the notes that she took for you with me?"
Oh.
And I'm standing right
Oh.
there. And I
no.
said, "You know what? Absolutely. I think you would benefit from my notes." But
Okay.
I wasn't trying to get sassy or nothing, but I was also like, it was very clear to everyone standing in that circle that the assumption was that I was his admin. And there is nothing wrong with being an admin, but the fact that the assumption is there over, the equal filter of, hey, we're all here, in similar capacity to gain the same information. Um, I think that over time that can definitely build up this, maybe I'll step back in the shadows because I don't want to, rumble the room. I don't want to, upset anybody or be dramatic, heaven forbid.
Right. You don't want to be that woman.
No, no, but you
You
do
be the
want to be
angry woman.
but
Right. The
can you be
angry, bitter one.
strong and intelligent and add to the conversation and add to the success of the business? Absolutely. And I think it takes a lot of women, a lot of tries to, take that spot in the room and say, I'm willing to fill it up.
Yeah.
Right. Uh, Earlier on, I when I was the operations for construction, there are times when, I'm talking and I share the solution and I'm all hyped about it, and they will literally turn to my nearest male next to my subordinate most times, and have him confirm it, and I'm like, wait, this was me. I know you saw me talking. Why are you turning to my subordinate to ask him,
Ooh.
"Hey, is that what we're doing? Is that what the plan?" I've just spoken it, that kinda thing. And so you have to overcome that. I found my struggle, my push was so much more than, say, even my subordinate under me. He could walk at the meeting and they'd be, "Hi, welcome, da da da." I come in and it's like, "Hey, wait, hey, I am here as the operations manager. Thank you," that kind of thing. So just to prove myself, I found that I had to make sure I closed my projects clean. I made sure that to keep them from double checking me, I had to come out fighting for and just not to be underestimated and
Mhm.
do better.
Yep. Well, and it's funny, you guys, it's like it really is some of the assumptions. Or I remember, I think I read, it was in a book I read at one point, but like early in my career, I worked actually in a construction environment. We were building a building. So I was
Okay.
on the commercial side of it, but we had a construction firm that was, doing all the things. I never met a woman for like 2 years. Like there were no women. It was
Okay.
just but we would sit down, and I was technically a marketing manager. I was doing a real not a real, because that sounds terrible. Admins are amazing, and we had amazing admins, but you sit in the room and someone's like, "Oh, can someone grab coffee?" And it's like default, it's me. I'm gonna go grab coffee because I'm the little girl in the room. And it's like, I remember the book, I
The
feel like
little
it was
lady, yeah.
probably Sheryl Sandberg's book, Lean In, because I loved that book really stuck with me. But like, early like don't always say yes and don't always put your hand up first just because you're the female in the room and they all look at you. Just wait for someone else to do it sometimes. Like, not to be like, I can't be helpful and I'm glad to get anybody coffee, but I shouldn't always be required to get everybody coffee unless that's my job. Unless I'm a barista, I'll get everybody coffee, That's fine. But
Okay.
yeah.
Well, no, then then that's when you're like, let's all agree that maybe the youngest person or the youngest tenure should. So, the apprentice or,
Yes.
the assistant manager should go
Yeah.
get for all of us, that kind of thing. But you can
Yes.
always, Rihanna, just kind of say, and my order would be, I like a caramel macchiato latte with,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Bring that all on. Me too.
right,
Like all the sweet lattes.
right. But you
Love
do
it.
have to have some type of tenacity in
Mhm.
doing this work. And so that hopefully will help you shift how people see you and what they expect from you as well. So keep doing good work.
Well,
Do you think you have gained tenacity through your tenure, through your 21 years there?
Mhm.
Do you feel like that's really been something that grown over
I
time,
don't
or do
I
you
don't
feel like day one you walked in, you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to bring some more tenacity?
I don't think I have tenacity. Yes, you have. We'll fall all that. Uh, I think I've always had it, but when I am put in what is it called when you're flight or fight kind of thing
Oh, yeah.
situation, I'm not going down. And unfortunately, I'm not competitive, but I don't like to lose. So this is where it became, yes, here's what I do know I can do very well is I can produce good work because
Mhm.
I'm prepared,
Mhm.
because I'm
Mhm.
listening, and because I am all about I'm people focused. So I know how to motivate all the guys on my crew to get something done. I've learned them. I don't know if it's the woman in me or whatever, but I know what Reggie needs. I know what Mike needs. I know what they all need. I know what time they want to go home. I know what their workload is because I've talked to them and I've gotten to know them and well that they respect me enough to do what I'm asking. And in return, I'm going to give them what they need to do their job and so that we can go home, that kind of thing. So I have found that in leadership, yes, I guess I've gained more tenacity. Definitely.
That is and
Love it.
and I'm wondering too, I guess, like, are there any stories you might have or any like a particular challenge that you have had to overcome in your career where tenacity was like you really relied because it's interesting. A lot of people don't naturally have that. So it's like I do think it's so important. It really like things are gonna be hard sometimes. So I think like the more you can have that, but yeah, I would just anything that you would wanna share where, like, you really leaned on that?
I probably have 2 examples. I have one, we did a, assessment, one of those, fill in the blanks, answer 100 questions, and the operations manager over me was like, You're awful bold. You will say things to anyone." And I'm like, "No." I said, "I just it doesn't matter who you are. Unfortunately, I don't think I have the same amount of respect for everyone." So, the president of the United States and our or the a beggar on the street, I'm going to address the same way. I don't kind of switch it up. I'm gonna respect them the same kind of way. So if you say something that doesn't quite digest well with me, I'm going to ask questions and I'm going to try to get clarity. But I remember one the tenacity coming out is my general superintendent. He's 6'7" and he's buff and so forth. And I'm asking him to put out a cigarette. And I probably shouldn't have did it in front of the crews. But then he backs up on me and he's like, I'm a smoke and I'm gonna do such and such and such. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm finding myself now having pulled into a whole lot of tenacity because I have to control this 6'7" man in front of me because I'm about to lose all respect from my whole team because they're looking like, oh my God, Gayla and the super are going at it.
Uh-huh.
And so then I did one of those mom moments and I'm like, you follow me into this back room right now. Because if I stayed in front of him, I think he was gonna still project and so forth. So that was the moment of I had to pull it in and be like, "Okay, let's get out in front of them. You follow me." And then they heard it. I mean, they could hear it
Mhm.
through the walls, but then we went at it, that kind of thing. So that's probably the one most I cannot believe you challenged me like that. So
Uh-huh. Wow. That's intimidating having all those people, like, you're just in this, like, arena and everyone's staring and, it's hard enough to have those kinda interactions one-on-one, so,
Yes. Yeah. But
gee.
there's hundreds. I mean, if you're in construction, even as men, talking to men, they're challenged. So I just feel like, yeah, I had to always, at some point then, it was always the whole, "Don't mess with her today. She's on point today. It's all about business today." When ops comes in, she's all about, that kinda thing. So,
Mhm.
and of course, another thing that always drove is safety. So, that's not something I ever wanted them to think I played with. It's very
Yeah.
important that they come home, that things are nobody's hurt, because that's not what we come to work for. So,
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that because I think we always think about, oh, like doctors, they have people's lives in their hands and you always but as we've talked to so many, especially of our construction firms, like, I mean, you're building a skyscraper. Like that is so dangerous. And it's like you want the workers to go home to their families and like the fact that you do take that so seriously. I feel like we can lose sight of that because it's not like you're not in the hospital, but like
right.
I've seen some of those guys up on the skyscrapers putting the roofs on and the 30
Mhm.
mile an hour winds, and I'm like, "That is, like, the most terrifying job I think that exists," and, like, that's what you're trying to make sure is, people are staying safe in all of these, like,
Mhm.
and then electricity, I mean, there's so many
All of it.
variables,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sarah, you can definitely close us out here in a second, but one last question for me. Like, what are some other benefits that like you've been able to see in, having female leaders within, especially within the construction industry?
For me, I think like you said, I kinda touched on it before. I felt that the thing that I bring as a woman is I'm genuinely interested in Tom. I'm genuinely interested in Mike. Interested in these people, and they're not I'm barking at you and you do what I say. It's, "Hold on, let me see." Like I said, it's an exchange. "What do you
Mhm.
need? You give me what I need, I'll try to give you what you need." And I think women have the ability to break that down and to really manage it from I need my people to feel good about doing their job,
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
or at least that's how I felt I did it. So,
Yeah. That's a great example. I love that.
Okay, well, I will kind of close us out with this last question. We like to give all of our guests, kind of a last thought, a last share. What one, line of advice would you like to leave us with today?
here's one. Okay, I will say
You can
this.
have more than one.
I only
Top
have
three?
one. I have a lot of models. If you work with me, you'll be like, well, what about that time when you said that? Then you said this. But no, let me quiet my mind here. I would say stay focused on the work and the people you serve. The impact will speak for you because it's never about you. And then when I say never about you, I'm saying it is not about the politics. It is not about the personalities. It is about the job. And do the best job that you can and keep your focus on the job.
That's great.
Ta-da.
I love it. Well, Gayla, I should have said it earlier too. Thank you for being the host of our user group as well. Like the
Oh, yeah.
user group leader, that is so critical. We've been able to grow that group, and we can't do it without amazing, tenacious leaders like you. And I know why Sarah wanted to get you on this so badly. I love your energy as well. I can feel I wish one day, Sarah, I'm dreaming of like a studio where we can sit down with people in the real world, but at least through the computer, I can feel your energy. And
Thank you. Thank
it's
you.
been great to hear your story and
Appreciate it.
just appreciate it so much.
All right. I appreciate spending time with you ladies as well. This was fun. Thank you for the invite, Sarah. So
We have
hopefully,
loved having you. And you know what?
thank you.
This is Rihanna, you gave a little bit of an introduction. We actually are going to have a studio of sorts um, coming next year at Champions Conference. We're going to have a little bit of a studio set up in our expo hall.
Okay.
And if you would love we would love to have you,
Yes.
Gayla, come in,
Okay.
spend some time with us. And if you haven't heard of Champions Conference, little plug for that here. Registration is now open. So
Okay.
there's
Okay.
my little plug for that.
Awesome.
Rihanna, did you have you'd like to finish us up?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to definitely thank all of our listeners. So, thanks for listening in to Breaking Ground Women in AEC Leadership. If today's episode resonates with you, please be sure to follow, leave a review, or share it with someone in your network. And if you have a story to share, please send us an email. We're always looking for our next guest, and our contact information is in the podcast bio. Until next time, keep breaking news.